Hello, hello. Welcome to Cooking with Chef Frank. Hello, my name is Frank Kramer and I'm the founder of Eat Like a Vegan Chef. I'm going to be your host today. And today we are going to cook green asparagus over black bean sauce with a mushroom stew and new potatoes. So welcome to Cooking with Chef Frank. And welcome everyone. Let's wait just a few minutes until everyone comes in and then we'll get started. If you don't mind introducing yourself, just saying hello, then I know you're there. Hi Viva, hi Kelly, hi Greg. Yes, first time head of Chef Frank. That's right, Greg. Excellent. Okay, just had a technical glitch here. Just to make sure, can you hear me? Just want to make sure that this should work now. Let me know if you can hear me properly. Great, wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in today. Welcome everyone on YouTube. I appreciate you. I appreciate you on Facebook. Everyone on YouTube, if you don't mind, if you like this live stream, give it a thumbs up and follow my channel if you haven't done already. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That will help my channel to grow. Wonderful. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Ed. Hi, Connie. Good. Hi, Celeste. Hi, Juanita. Hi, Cheryl. Okay, good. Let's get started. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, we are in spring. Finally, I'm so excited. I went in the supermarket today and I wanted to see what's going on. If there's anything worthwhile, of course there is. And asparagus caught my eye because that's in season now. It's the high season is mid-April to May to mid-May. That's when the season for asparagus is, especially white asparagus, and I will tackle white asparagus too at one point. But today I have green asparagus. I'm gonna show you quickly how to identify good asparagus, how to know if it's fresh, because I think that's very important. Very, very often I go to the supermarket and I get lousy asparagus. Because first of all, it is always best to go to your farmer's market to get asparagus. First of all, it's much, much fresher. It's most likely organically grown. Check with your farmer. And beside that, when you buy at your farmer's market, imagine the traveling they did, maybe an hour from their farm, maybe two. When you get asparagus in the supermarket that has been delivered from the truck from, I don't know, from where, it's still a few hundred miles away. So it's better to support your local farmer's market to get fresh vegetables of any kind, but especially asparagus. The longer asparagus stands overly on the shelf, the more it degrades, the more the nutrients degrade, so to speak. So you want to make sure that you get fresh asparagus from your farmer's market. Okay. So I just wanted to show you how to identify good fresh asparagus. So first of all, the color, green. It needs to be nice and green, the color. Second, you want to look at the tips. You see the tip here? I don't know if you can tell. Let me get my light a little bit closer. You might be able to see. Yeah. So this is a crisp green head of asparagus. You see, it's all the leaves are perfectly on the asparagus. It's not mushy. It's all crisp. That's the first sign that the asparagus is fresh. Then, of course, obviously the color. Then you want to see that there's no mushy spots on the asparagus itself. I bought asparagus and had, of course, one in there which was mushy. I'm gonna show it to you, and it's you very often when you buy asparagus, there might be one or two in there which are not good. So you see, this is one. It's getting a little mushy there. The color is not really green anymore. You see this here, getting a little brownish, and it's not mushy yet, but if you see the head, I don't know if you can tell properly, but the head is not 100% nice and fresh and dry. It needs to be dry. The same with this here. You can tell that the asparagus is getting dry. You see this here, and you see this. You do not want to do this with asparagus. This is something you don't want. For instance, this is a fresh asparagus. Yes, it will bend, but you see, not really. If I bend a little more, it will break. Actually, where it breaks is really, this is what you discard, but you can use it in your soup. And the rest of your asparagus, we're going to cook. So remember, this part you cannot eat, but you can use it for soups. But this part you can eat. So now you know how to identify fresh asparagus. Okay. I also have new potatoes, and I started to cook them. I put them in cold water, very important. You see, new potatoes are always small. They can be red or white, and sometimes they're called nibbles, sometimes they're called different kind of potatoes, but usually it's new potatoes. They're so sweet and creamy. Oh, they're delicious, and they cook in no time. Be sure to cook them in cold water. When you put them in hot water, then the outside cooks faster than the inside, and then you have a mush. You don't want that. Okay? Put it back in here. Okay, and I used baby bella mushrooms today. I chopped them up in quarters. You could do slices or quarters. Quarters is really, if you want more texture, they stand up to the heat, and well, you have more mushroom flavor. It's just nicer. Good. Okay, so let's start with sautéing our asparagus. And of course, as usual, I always cook without oil. You know that by now. And let me switch my camera so you can see what I'm cooking. But you know what? Before I start, I'm actually going to cook the black bean sauce first, because the black bean sauce is going to take a while. It's going to take me at least 15 minutes or 20 minutes. When you cook black bean sauce, you want to make sure that you're getting the starch out of the beans, and the starch really makes the sauce a little bit creamier, and it changes the flavor of the black beans. You know, when you eat black beans with your avocados, for instance, with your tacos, then they taste fresh and like black beans. But if you want to use them in a sauce, they completely change their flavor, and it becomes a velvety consistency, so to speak. The flavor becomes very mild. It depends. You can make it hot, spicy, absolutely, but it becomes very mild, and you can match it to many other foods. So it's very interesting how you can use black beans. So it changes its flavor, so to speak. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so for the black bean sauce, I'm going to saute onions. And garlic. And I always have a little water with me, so that's very important. And I just add a little bit, just a little bit of water. Let me change my camera setting. Okay, wait. Okay. So every time my water disappeared, I want to make sure that my onions don't burn, but I still want them to slightly caramelize. So you gotta be careful because it's high heat I'm using. And you see, you can actually tell the caramelization process it's starting already. I just don't want to burn my onions or my garlic, very important. So I use just a little bit of water. I do not want my vegetables to steam. If I want them to steam, I can put them in a steamer. So that's a fundamental difference. Very often I see people put too much water in, and that actually steams the vegetables. I don't want that. A little bit more. And then I'm going to add my carrots and celery. So that's basically my mirepoix. And I'm only cooking for 1 or 2 people. I'm using maybe had a 1/4 cup of onions, not even, and a teaspoon of carrots and celery. And I use 1 15-ounce can of black beans for my sauce because I'm just cooking for myself. My potatoes are almost ready. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of water. Okay. You see here, my veggies are caramelizing beautifully. So now I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of small paprika, and oregano. Probably half a teaspoon. I'm going to expose them to the heat so I can create more flavor out of those herbs. When I expose, not herbs, to my spices. When I expose my spices to heat, they open up and more flavor comes out of it. Good. I'm going to add a little bit more water to it. Okay, I think my potatoes are ready. Okay, now I'm going to add my beans. And if you wanted to, you could add some peppers to it, tomatoes, But in this case, I'm just going to keep it very simple. I want to add about a quarter to half a cup of water. If you like salt, you can add it now. You don't have to, it's optional. I'm going to turn on the heat to medium and just let it simmer. That's about 15 minutes. So you will, if you look at the consistency now, it's all watery and the beans are completely whole. Wait in 15 minutes how everything looks like. It's going to look completely different. Okay. Potatoes are ready. Good. So now, in the meanwhile, we can start sauteing the asparagus. Good. I'm going to heat up my pan. Okay, before we even get there, I just want to make sure that I showed you already how to use the asparagus, the usable part. If you break, you see how it breaks. I don't know if you saw it. It breaks always there where the woody part is. The woody part you cannot eat. It's not. Can you see? See, it always breaks where it's supposed to break. Usually, very often, as chefs, when we cook a lot of asparagus, obviously we cut it because we know where the part is. And you can tell here, this was a bad one. See this? Forget about it. You could use maybe the upper part here. Okay. Good. I have washed the asparagus previously, and now I'm going to add it to my pan. And since I'm not having, usually asparagus can be poached, can be roasted, can be sautéed. Poaching is actually one of the preferred methods of asparagus, but with green asparagus, I find hands down, roasting or sautéing it gives more flavor to the asparagus. So since the asparagus is very dry by nature, we don't hear much of this sautéing or roasting process because there is no moisture here. So I have to make sure that I have to watch my asparagus, that it doesn't burn, first of all. And second, I have to add water to it. And you will see now, the pan is hot. You see what kind of heat we have with these asparagus because you cannot see it. See? I don't want to add too much water, just a little, just so I prevent my asparagus from burning. But I want it to brown. And asparagus doesn't take long. It only takes a minute or two and then it's ready. The green asparagus. So my black beans, I'm going to add a little bit of more water. And I'm going to add a little bit of lemon juice over the asparagus. This will flavor my asparagus from the beginning. the color beautiful green. See that? I don't know if you can see it in the color. Okay, so let me see if there's any questions. Thank you, Barbara. That's very nice. Yes, the stems always comes up, will come off, Jackie. Yes, you're right, Jackie. White asparagus is extremely popular in Germany. Very, very popular, even in France. A green pan? No, my pan is not green. Oh, you see here how fast my asparagus is starting to brown? There's a lot of heat here. I'm gonna add some water to it. And you can tell how the water turns brown. This is the caramelization process. Okay. And I'm only at between medium and high. I'm not even at high heat yet. Okay. My asparagus, I want my asparagus absolutely al dente and even less cooked than al dente. I want still the crunch in there. If you want it soft, absolutely, that is absolutely up to you. Okay, so now I'm adding my next ingredients for my stew. Because I do want to utilize the flavor in the pan to cook my mushroom stew. Okay, my asparagus is almost done. I'm going to take it out. You see, if I would cook my asparagus way before, I really needed to cool it down to preserve the green color, but I'm going to serve it right away. Okay, so this is my sauteed asparagus. Okay. So now I'm going to add my onions. So a little bit of garlic. You don't have to add garlic. Garlic is really optional. I'm only going to add a little bit. I don't want the garlic to overpower the asparagus. It's really only to flavor the mushrooms. Okay. I'm going to turn up the heat to high. You see my onions turn brown because of the residue in the pan here on the asparagus. So I have to watch my beans. Quarter cup of water again. Remember, I want my sauce to be saucy and not just beans. Okay, now it's time to add some water to my onions. Okay, in a minute I'm going to add my mushrooms. Okay, for everyone who just joined, let me switch the camera quickly. Hi everyone, I see we have a few more people joined. Thank you so much for joining me. It was my weekly cooking with Chef Frank. Today we're going to cook green asparagus over black bean sauce with a mushroom stew, cherry tomatoes, and new potatoes. So since we are in spring now, we finally can cook beautiful vegetables. So I'm very, very excited about it. Again, I mentioned earlier, it's best to go to your farmer's market to get your green leafy your vegetables, period. You know they are fresh, you know they're seasonal, because the farmer's market would never ever sell you a vegetable from 2-3 months ago. It's always fresh, it's always in season, and that way you buy sustainable and you get the most nutrition in your vegetables. So that's very important. Okay, I'm going to switch my camera again. I'm cooking my mushroom stew now. And as you can see, my beans are still cooking away. I need to cook them for about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. So now I'm going to add my mushrooms. Once the water almost evaporates, and I cut my mushrooms in wedges, like in quarters, so I can maintain some crunch to it. You see, when you slice mushrooms, you get a different application than if you would cut your mushrooms in quarters. In quarters, you maintain the mushroom integrity a little bit further, and I prefer it because it just tastes yummier. Good. So my new potatoes are ready. They're cooked. My beans going to take maybe another 5 to 8 minutes, and my mushrooms should be also ready in about 5 to 10 minutes. That means everything is ready almost at the same time, and that's how I like to cook. Hi Melanie. Oh, I see you growing your own asparagus. That's wonderful. Excellent. Nice. Is it green or white, Melanie? A little bit more water. You can tell how much water I'm adding to my beans. It's quite a bit. And now you can tell my mushrooms are slowly caramelizing. This is what I want. And if you cook with salt, now's the time to add a little bit of salt. I'm going to add some oregano, half a teaspoon. Good. Almost there. When my black beans are almost ready, I'm going to puree them. About 3/4 of them I'm going to puree, and then I have a more creamier sauce. Isn't it beautiful how the mushrooms are slowly caramelizing without oil? Once my mushrooms are caramelized, I'm almost caramelized, I'm going to add my tomatoes. Green and purple. Wow, that's wonderful. Nice. Um, yeah, when you cook purple asparagus, it usually loses its color, but yet it's beautiful. Barbara, I only shop once a month. What do you think about frozen vegetables? Absolutely, you can use frozen vegetables. Yep. The mushrooms slowly caramelizing here. This is what I want. This is how I get flavor into my food. Add a little bit of water to it. You see the brown, the water, how brown it turns? This is the caramelization. This is what I want. So now I'm going to add my tomatoes. And I just saute my tomatoes until they are barely cooked, because I don't want them to fall apart. But I want them to get enough heat so they have still some texture to it. I'll add a little bit of scallions, some green onions. A little bit of water to it. Now is the time to taste. You have enough flavor in here. Adding a little bit more water to my beans. Okay. Okay, my mushrooms are ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply adding a few of my potatoes to my mushroom stew. This is so I can give my potatoes a little bit more flavor. My beans are almost ready. I'm going to get a plate. Okay, we're almost there. Almost there. So I'm waiting for my beans to change to this starchy consistency. It hasn't happened yet. That means they haven't cooked long enough. Actually, you can actually tell if you, I don't know if you can see it, the water turns brownish. This is what I want. I want the water to turn brownish in here. This is when the starch comes out of the beans and flavors the sauce. Very, very important process. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, it's ready. I'm gonna add my beans into the blender. Yeah, left a little. I'm going to put it in my NutriBullet and give it just a little pulse. Just a little. I really don't want to. Have to be very careful. It's hot. Now I add it back to my beans. And I might have to add a little bit of water to it. Oh, you can always use broth. Low sodium organic vegetable broth works too. Okay. It's a little too creamy now. Adding a little bit of water. I'm going to taste my sauce if it's ready. Because every time I add anything, any liquid to it, I want to make sure I taste it. Usually if you add broth, then there's a little salt in there, so that's fine. But I'm adding water, so I have to make sure that my sauce still tastes good. In this case, I would like to just add a little bit just a little kick to it, maybe a drop of Tabasco or just a tiny little bit of cayenne pepper. Only a little bit, really not much. A little bit of black pepper, and we are adding black pepper on the mushroom and the potatoes. Because they finished cooking, now we can add black pepper. You don't want to add black pepper while it's cooking, then you change the flavor. And I don't want that. Okay. Let's see if we can, if you can see the plate. Yeah. I'm going to put my sauce down first. Okay. The sauce, the black bean sauce is really my protein. Of course, my asparagus is still a little warm. Could be a little warmer. So now I'm going to put my asparagus right in the center. I want a good portion, so this is about 3/4 pound. And just for show, I'm going to cut my potatoes in half. You don't have to do that, you can put it whole. And again, you can add a lot more potatoes to it. This is just for show, so to speak. So now I'm going to add my mushrooms right on top of my asparagus. Well, obviously, you can add a lot more potatoes to it. Since it's all whole food, you can eat as much as you want of this because you don't have too many calories. So, I mean, the dish doesn't have too many calories, so you don't have to worry. I'm going to decorate it a little bit with some celery. Change my camera setting and then I'm going to show it to you. Okay. So this is my asparagus dish. Very simple. As you saw, it didn't even took 45 minutes. And if you have everything prepared, it's even faster. It's much faster than that. But this is a nice spring dish. Of course, black beans are always you can always use, but the asparagus is now in season. The potatoes are in season, so it's a great dish. Very, very easy to prepare, and I hope you enjoyed this. This is my first episode about spring. This dish will also be featured on the weekly meal plan next week, so you have an idea already what's coming your way. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know. You always know how to reach me. You can reach me at eatlikeveganchef.com, and I'm always there to help you. Let's see what's coming up. We do have our guest speaker coming tomorrow. Her name is Natalie Billy. She's a fitness and wellness instructor. She used to work for corporate hospitals and oversaw the wellness and fitness schedule. Very, very talented. I can highly recommend her. She is going to educate you about safe exercises. When we come into our age, we want to make sure we exercise safely, and there's a few things to know about, and I think she is a professional who will blow your mind when it comes to that. So I hope you will join me tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook or YouTube, and I hope you will join me. You're going to be in for a treat. This is not like one of those sessions you see everywhere on YouTube. You're really in for a treat tomorrow night. Okay. So I thank you so much for joining me tonight, and I wish you a good Thursday. Be safe, think plant-based, and I'll see you. For my members, I see you Sunday for batch cooking. Otherwise, I hope to see you Friday for our guest speaker. And that's it for today. Thank you so much. Everyone on YouTube, please don't forget, if you don't mind, clicking the thumbs up button. That gives me a boost and helps my channel to grow. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Have a good day.